Good morning, everybody, and very happy to be back to today's sharing. I'm sure we're all looking forward to each day when we have a chance and opportunity to listen to Master's teachings, whether it's in the past or if it's going to be a brand new one, the new one in the morning. But I think whether it's the older ones or whether it's the new one today, I think it's very important and imperative that we cherish it. And I think I think we all understand the importance of that. Today, I wanted to share about memories. 2 weeks ago, we had this performance by all of you, and it brought back many, many memories. I remember we had Shifu telling us what the repentance meant, and all of you had performed, albeit in only a very short segment of the song. I mean, the actual one is a lot longer. I'm sure you all know this, but you all did one segment, and the importance is that we truly see the power, the supernatural power that we all have. When you really want to do this, then you would put together the efforts. And when I went back to look at the video and also the picture, I realized not only were your actions were in sync, but even your masks were also of the same type. It's probably double layered, and it's probably got one on the inside and one on the outside, or it's the actual covering. I didn't realize that at first, on the day that you were performing or on the day that the video that you showed us. But after I look at it more, I realized that there were so many small details that only came to light when you're able to, not be in the moment, but rather be more objective. When you're not just listening and seeing the performance, but you're looking at it, carefully at each person, and you're looking at it with much gratitude. Then you begin to realize small things that you didn't realize on the very first go. And so that's sort of what we're talking about today. Okay, so let me be brief. So today we're going to talking about time, space, and Dharma. And this is something that I found to be very intriguing, and I found to be very interesting. So that's why I sort of take it out and I try to collect what Master has said recently about time, space, and also about Dharma, to do a little contemplation about comparison, about how to look at it and why. So let me continue. So on the 6th of this month, which is about 3 weeks ago, Master talks about this particular time and space. Master said, look at how fast and rapid our communication and transit has become. Master's talk every day with this one voice can spread to all the countries wherever there is Tzu Chi. Everyone with a push of a button can listen at the same time. So this particular idea talks about space, talks about time, talks about wherever there is Tzu Chi, the sound actually pervades to all these spaces. And also talks about time. Wherever there is Tzu Chi, whatever time, the sound would actually prevail there too. It will pervade every space. It will go through every space wherever there is Tzu Chi. It's almost like air. It just fills it up, okay? So Master continues to talk. Some listens while in the middle of the night. Because while we're in the morning, right here, right now, in Taiwan, we're in the morning. They are at midnight or afternoon or at noon. There is a time zone difference, but in reality, there's only a difference of 4 seconds. So right now, I think it would be virtually impossible. Well, I don't say virtually. It's very, very difficult for us to verify, are we simultaneous? The moment you hear me talk versus the moment that you actually hear it. Okay, so even even right now in the same room, Sifu and I were in the same room. There is a time difference between the moment that I make the sound and the moment that she hears the sound, right? Because the sound had to travel, all the physics, right? So there is a difference between the moment I make the sound and the moment that it gets transferred to you. There's a difference. But that's what Master talks about. That's about roughly 4 seconds. Okay, that's a rough estimate, including network, including all of that. But the greater thing is that goes beyond the time difference, which is in different places there are different time zones, right? So this is what we talked about, right? Space, that's everywhere, wherever there is Tzu Chi. Okay, so there's space fills with Tzu Chi. Time, whenever, wherever there's Tzu Chi, then all the time there's also Tzu Chi's spirit, or the talk is there, resounding, continuing. So that's what Master talks about. Wherever there is Tzu Chi, the sun never sets, right? And then the sun never sets in the world of Tzu Chi. So I wanted to bring this idea of time difference, right? So Master talks about that there is a time difference because after all, we and the United States, right? For example, we and the Americas, we are completely different in terms of time. And also, we and the Southern Hemisphere, right? The North Hemisphere and the South Hemisphere, our seasons are completely flipped upside down. So it's not even just the difference of night and day. It's actually the difference between seasons, right? Right now, we're about to go into winter. So Sharon or others in Australia or our friends and brothers and sisters in Africa, they're actually about to go into the summer, right? So it's different, right? Our seasons are flipped upside down. But in reality, right now, what is said now is heard now. And that's the difference, right? That's what Master was trying to tell us, that even though we are space away, even though we have this time difference, even though we have the seasonal difference, but in reality, whatever is said now is heard now. Whatever is said here is heard elsewhere. So even though there is a difference, but in reality, it's actually all the same, now and here. So no matter where and no matter when, Dharma is heard here and now. And so that's the different perspective. It's sort of, in the past, we could not have seen this possible, right? How would Buddha be able to explain this to his disciples without using the words supernatural power? Because it was virtually impossible to be able to explain all of this without technology. For us, right? How would we be able to explain that the moment I say something that you get to hear it without technology? It would have to be some kind of supernatural power. It would have to be some kind of things that we cannot explain. So now it makes a lot of sense that what Buddha said in the past, now it's all very reasonable. Now it's all very possible because of technology, right? No matter where, no matter when. You could either record Master's teaching or you could listen to it live, and then no matter where, no matter when, you'll be able to hear it now and here, okay? So let's take a look at another perspective of time, space, and Dharma. So we're talking about Master talking live or Dai TV going live, right? So let's take a look at another perspective of time, space, and Dharma. This is on June 18th when Master talks about the particular time frame. So Master talks about the light that we're seeing from the sun. And it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel from the sun to the earth. Therefore, Master explained, the light that we're seeing now comes from the sun 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Okay, so it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel, right? So that means the one that we're seeing right now actually came from the sun 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago, right? And Master tells us that this means how far it has traveled, because the speed of light is really, really fast. It's 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. That's how fast it is. But Even that fast, it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel. Okay, so it's very far. So what does it mean? 8 minutes, 20 seconds, or roughly 500 seconds, right? It takes 500 seconds for the light, for the sunshine to travel all the way to the earth. And obviously it takes even longer to other places. So what does this 500 seconds mean, right? So if we look into the time and space and Dharma, in my mind, what I think right now is that even though the light was generated 500 seconds ago, right? It came from the sun 500 seconds ago. It shines onto our land right now. We look at it and it helped us realize it's the morning, right? It helped us, see the road. It helped us see the landscape. It does everything here now. So even though that came from 500 seconds ago, it works for us now. About Dharma, Dharma would be the same, right? Dharma is acting in a very similar fashion because it came from 2,500 years ago and it purifies people now. So it's the same idea, right? That the light came from not right now. It's not like I'm saying it and you're hearing it now. It came from a while back, but it's helping the people now. If we're able to get it, then it helps us now. Same thing with Dharma. Dharma came from 2,500 years ago in a very, very different place, in a very, very different language, in a very, very different background. But it matters not because it helps the people now. As long as we're able to get it extracted and get the things that we need and help the people now, then it matters not how long ago it came from or where it come from. So does it matter that the sunshine came from 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago? Does it matter, right? Does it matter? As long as it powers our solar panels, as it shines on plants and gives them life, as long as it wakes up all life, to us, it's the same. We grew up not knowing the same light that we're seeing now 500 years ago. We grow up learning some truth about life, not knowing that it has been the truth since forever. It matters not. It only matters that now we can use it. Now we can use it to better us. Now that we can use it to help us move on to overcome our challenges. So it matters not when or where it came from. It matters most that we learn and utilize it to the fullest now. So this is talking about the time and the space, right? It matters not that it came from India 2,500 years ago. It matters not that it came from 2,500 years ago. It matters most that we can use this Dharma that we can have right now. However, we still need to remember the origin. We need to understand where it came from. It matters in terms of knowing the origin doesn't quite help us getting rid of our impurities or the afflictions. But we need to remember why. It's the same light. It's the same light 2,500 years ago, okay? But we need to remember that it had traveled 8,020 seconds to get to us. So it doesn't matter that it came from 500 seconds ago, but we need to remember. Why? Why does it need to remember? Remembering the origin keeps the memory. It keeps all this real to us. Knowing that it came from a particular person, particular place, particular time, and particular background makes it real. So it's not the teaching itself, but it's the association of this memory that makes it real and makes it dear to us. Because though the teaching can be real and it can be true, we will not cherish it unless we attach an additional meaning to it. That it's important to realize where it came from, how long it had traveled, and why it is here now. So yes, functionally, it matters not that the sun, the light, came from 500 seconds ago. Functionally, as long as solar panel, as long as it, the light goes onto the plants and starts photosynthesis process, as long as it wakes up life because it's day again, functionally is the same. However, it gives you the sense of depth and breadth when you realize how long it has to travel. It has to travel all the way 500 seconds ago, when each second it travels so long, fast. It tells you the greatness of the universe. It tells you the vastness of our solar system. And it tells you that we need to cherish it because the sunlight goes to all directions. Yet this particular sunlight that we're seeing is destined for us to receive because it goes into all spaces, but only a very small portion of it gets to us. We need to cherish it because the moment you keep the sentiment, then it became real to us. Just like this picture, right? Look at this picture. Remember who is here. That makes it real to us. Remember who has left us. Who left us and who is still here. If you remember who they are, if you remember who they are, then they will be here also. Be here always. That is why it's not just functionally saying that we know the teachings. It's not just functionally saying that, oh, whoever says it, it doesn't matter as long as we're applying to it now. Now we take one step further to remember, to think about who said it and why and under what circumstances was it said. This makes it more powerful. This makes us want to learn more. That's very important. Otherwise, you can fling all these, Jing Si aphorisms all over the place. It doesn't really help you sometimes unless you knew why. That's why sometimes you know that, oh, Master spoke to me and told me this. It could have been somebody else telling you the same thing, but you wouldn't change. So it's not a matter of functional meanings of the words, but also the meanings of the sentiments, the emotion that's associated to it. Yes, we are taught, we now learn, we need to detach. We don't want to be attached, but that's the idea. What Brother Cheng talks about, the paradox of truth. Do you really want to get rid of that? Or do you really want to keep it? Master said that as a bodhisattva, we have to keep that kindness, that love, that emotion is also there too. You can't just be all function, even though we are learned to be detached. But no, not completely detached. So look at who is here. Look at who was there. And look at who is not here with us anymore. Look at who left us. Remember them, then they will always be here. And this picture will be even more powerful because you know who was there and who wasn't, and you will remember who is still here and who is no longer here. And because you do this, then you will remember. That makes the Dharma even more so powerful. So it's not something just functional. It's not just something like, it doesn't matter that the sun came from 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. It doesn't matter as long as it shines on our solar panel. Functionally, that's true, but it matters emotionally. It matters to our sentiment that you cherish this because it's not just any sunlight. It's not just any words from just anybody. It came from Buddha. It came from our master. It came from our friends. It came at a time when we were together at Hualien. It came at a time when we were all still here together. Now we might not all be here. Some of us have left us already, but we remember that because just like Dharma exists outside of time and space. You cannot say that this was 500 seconds ago or 2,500 years ago. It just is. It's just here. It's just now. If we keep it in us, if this is something that's dearing to us, keep it in us, keep it in our lives, then it will be here always. Then it will also exist outside time and space. That's how we transcend. That's how we can go beyond just time and space. So it will no longer decay because we forget. It will transcend, go beyond just time. We will not lose it because we forget. We will not lose it because we move from space to space, but rather we will keep it in us, just like Dharma, okay? So that's what I think Dharma is truly precious, because it's outside the boundaries of time and space. We have to keep that wisdom in us, that sentiment in us also outside of time and space. No longer are we attached to the time and the space. We know the time flies by. We know the space could be infinitely big or infinitely small, but neither that matters to us, because as long as we keep it in us, hold it dearly, the things that we need to keep in our mind, then it will exist outside the time and space. So that's my sharing for today. Very quickly going through the ideas of time and space and going through some people who has left us. And I think if we keep it in us, always remembering them, then they will be here always. Their spirit and their love will be here always. They will not have left us. And I think that's very important. So going Q&A, going to the Q&A, I specifically brought question 72 up because we actually did answer it, but it goes about, we talked about the confines of time and space, right? We thought if we are within the confines of time and space, then obviously the cause will eventually become the consequence, and the consequences will become the cause. And so we talked about how we need to exist outside. You can exist outside the time and space. For example, you could be the mom and the daughter without physically being the mom or the daughter, right? And that's what the idea is. Don't confine yourself by these definitions that we are confined in. The mind is ever so big that we only confine it because we don't understand it. But what Buddha was teaching us, or what the Buddha's teaching, was really trying to liberate from all these detachments. Yet at the same time, this is a paradox where you can't liberate all of that. You need to hold on to something, because if we're liberated completely, we don't know where we're going, right? It's like an anchor that we need in the sea. However, eventually, perhaps, when we're able to do that, when we become, completely transcended, who knows to what, maybe we can relieve of all these attachments, but we still need some bearing. So we still need to hold on to something. So Master explained to us that Bodhisattva is 觉有情. So you're holding on to this enlightenment, the wisdom, and you're holding on to the sentiment, the emotion. Both of them are key to what we need to do in this process of knowledge and wisdom of things that's outside of time and space. That's very difficult. Okay, so question 73. We always hear the words to purify our minds. How does one translate that into action in our daily life during our interaction with people? And I think this goes beyond, there's very similar things we're talking about today. Truly think for others. This is very difficult, but this is what Master had accomplished, right? Think for others, put others ahead of ourselves, love others more than love self, right? If you can do that, then you can already get rid of a lot of habitual tendencies, right? Because if you think about your action, all the actions that we're doing today, mostly, 99% or maybe 100% are deliberately thinking about ourselves, right? Yes, maybe some of the actions you're doing to benefit other people, but ultimately it's really about yourself, right? Your time, your schedule, what you like to do, what you can do, what you want to do, right? Even though it's all helping people, but truly it's self. right? It's really there. But like I said earlier, right, you still need something to anchor in. Even though you're truly selfless, but it doesn't mean that the self is already gone. It's still there, right? It's just working with yourself to be selfless, okay? So think for others, put others ahead of you, thinking about what others need, what others want, before think about what you need and what you want. And even so, the self is still there, right? But at least you're able to put others ahead of you. And that would be the very simple thing, but very difficult to do for us to remind ourselves. Question 74, please enlighten if face the situation that most of the workers and owners of a particular shop didn't wear properly the face mask, okay? Or operators do not adhere to COVID rules. Should we report to authority or just let it be, right? As Tzu Chi commissioners, when we know the volunteers goes against the precept, how do we approach them or pretend not to see? Okay, so this is what I think about, right? This is what I think about. Contemplate the why, okay? Why are they not following the rules? Are they not aware? Do they know the rules but act deliberately against it? What causes them to act this way? And I think this is very important. The very first thing that we see through our senses is to receive. How we react to it is in our mind, it's in our consciousness. There's a subconsciousness and there's an active consciousness, right? So we are analyzing and assessing why. Very quickly, usually, our subconscious or our habitual thoughts take over. The moment that we see something as an input, we quickly jump to the reason why. We don't think about, are they not aware? Do they know but act deliberately? Or do they not know? Or do they know but they don't know how to act? They just didn't realize, right? So very quickly, we jump to the why, and we jump to the reason they are not doing this is because either they don't know or they're doing this deliberately. We don't spend a lot of time on the why. Therefore, a lot of the answers that we come up with don't address the why, and it doesn't really help. So only when we know the problem, are they not aware? Do they know that that's the rule? Do they know that that actually didn't help? What was the reason why they put it under their chin? Perhaps it was difficult to breathe. Perhaps they have issues with breathing. Perhaps it was temporary. They saw someone else did it. There were many, many, many reasons. Contemplate on the why they're doing this. Then contemplate on the how. The moment that you think that you have a pretty good grasp about why they're doing this, then you can think about how. How do you approach them? How do you correct them? How do you make sure that the future path, in the future, it's not just you here and the now, but also in the future that they will also do it correctly. And you will realize it's really, really difficult. That's why Master said today in the morning Dharma talk, right? Talks about children are easier to teach. I really think it's not just children, right? The idea isn't just children are easy to teach. The idea is actually that whoever is be more willing to open to teaching are easier to be taught, okay? So contemplate on the how. And it's not easy, right? But you're kind and wise. The why and the how will be natural to you. And that's how we learn and that's how we grow. So you get to see a lot of people, you get to interact with people, and you get to learn how to interact with people, and you get to read people to understand why. And that's how we learn and grow. So there isn't a very good answer unless you understand and unless you observe carefully. And that's what Master teaches us to say, is that don't just jump to why, don't just jump to how, right? Because a lot of people, when we're talking, when we're discussing, we're always discussing the how. We rarely take the time to discuss the why. So if you are going into this, entrepreneur classes, right? Always tell you as the first thing in the lesson is to analyze the problem. And there are so many steps that teaches you how to analyze the problem, because don't jump to the how, because that might not be the only answer. If you don't know the why, it's really no point to talk about the how if it's completely missing the point, right? So, but the most important thing, if you're kind and wise, be compassionate, and have wisdom, then this will be natural to you. And this is how we learn and grow. So I'm going to go into the next question before I hand the here. How to develop the two virtues, and this was explained by Master on the reruns from September 22nd. So the two virtues, right? Virtue of ending all afflictions and the virtue of wisdom, right? So what does that mean? So let me bring up the Chinese, right? So these are the two virtues, right? The virtue to end all the afflictions, and the wisdom, which is able to shine the light and to bring forth the true principles. Okay, so these are the two virtues, and how do you do this, right? So in my mind, wisdom. I think that wisdom is to understand where we want to get to. I think that's wisdom. Wisdom is about knowing where we want to end up, right? So that's our goal. That's our goal for life. That's our goal with our, with our time, with our energy, with our efforts. That's our goal. Wisdom helps us line that up. Wisdom helps us to understand what our ultimate goal should be and is. But it's the resolve that helps us take each step. For every step that we take to break free from the afflictions, that's each step that we're taking toward the goal that the wisdom tells us to do. However, there is a third virtue that Master talked about before, and I did a little search onto Master's talk before. There's a virtue, which is gratitude. And I want to combine all of the three together. It makes sense that wisdom is about knowing what our end result, our goal is. Resolve is to take one step at a time. But gratitude is to be able to continue. You need three things, right? You need to know where you want to go. You need to take one step, and you need to continue to motivate yourself to take that one step always. And then you will be able to get to where you want to get to. So three things have to work in tandem, right? So that's the vow, that's the vow that we're talking about, making the vow. But gratitude allows you to know, to be thankful and grateful. When we are grateful, then we're able to continue to drive ourselves to take each step. So when we found it is very difficult to uphold the vow every day, that's because we forgot to be grateful. If you're grateful to what we have, if you're grateful to what we are doing now, then you will have the energy to move on. So gratitude is very important to help you take that one step ahead all the time. Okay, so that's my sharing for today, and going through three questions. And very grateful to all of you. Very grateful to those of you that were here in the beginning, and to those of you that are joining new, and to those of you who are not here anymore. I think our gratitude goes beyond. And it is this gratitude that will allow us to continue, even though at times it might be difficult, even though that there are some of us that will not be with us along the way. But it's this gratitude that we're all here. It's this gratitude to Master that allow us to wake up and to take that one more step forward, so that we will not take two steps backwards, but rather we'll be able to continue to move on. Okay, so that's the sharing for today. Thank you very much, and grateful for Masters, and also grateful for all of you, and for all of you who were here on the first day until now. Thank you, and to all of you who have left us but somehow able to hear this, to let you know that never left our hearts, and we're always remembering. Therefore, you never left us. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you.
BrotherJoe, for such again very wonderful Saturday wisdom. Truly, yeah. Prayers to those who are not with us. Those who have left us. We pray that you will come back soon and join us on this Bodhisattva path. Indeed, today another cherishing day，莫忘那一天、那一人、那一件事。Okay, very kind. Today we have very special guest. This guest seems that Master has already introduced him since the morning. A flawless sit with deep resolve to learn the Dharma. That's why not only he could comprehend the Dharma, but he could promote it to many people. Today we also hear the story of his wisdom, resolve, and his deep gratitude towards the Dharma. And with his deep compassion, he could not only spread the Dharma to many in Indonesia, but as well as doing many charity mission. Brother ShuTjeng, our most inspiring role model. Over to you.
Cảm ơn Sang Lượng, cảm ơn sư phụ, cảm ơn Sở Hữu sư兄. Sorry, I'm from Indonesia, but not from Jakarta. I'm from Medan. Medan is need 2-hour flight to Jakarta. Okay, but here is near to Kuala Lumpur. So today I want to share with you, this is affinity with you all, our Dharma family. ShuTjeng, I hope ShuTjeng help me to translate because I'm English is not good. Today I'm here to share with you seperti seekor semut kecil ya. Saya akan sharing hal-hal kecil yang ada saya lakukan di Indonesia. ShuTjeng tell me to share about this ya. Jadi hari ini saya memilih judul ini. Pertama sebelumnya mengenai simpasiang yang kita sudah pernah jelaskan. Pertama saya kangen kepada ShuTjeng saya ya. Karena ada ShuTjeng saya maka hari ini bisa ada demikian panjang perjalanan di Tzu Chi sudah di tahun ke-11. Oke, saya singkat aja mengenai jalinan jodoh sampai ke simpasiang adalah tahun 2013 ya. Ini sebenarnya saya sudah pernah share dengan ShuTjeng di sini tahun 2017 ya. Ini kejadian di kita bawa pasien Tzu Chi ke Hualien tahun 2013. Oke. Nah, waktu itu saya sudah 4 tahun di Tzu Chi, belum pernah mendengar Dharma ya. Sehingga ketika sampai di Hualien itu, saya sepuh minta tinggal di Chingse. Saya di sana 2 hari sudah tidak tahan ya, karena harus bangun jam 3.30 pagi. Nah, setelah itu Master mengatakan kepada saya, hanya melihat saya 2 hari ya. Padahal waktu itu ketika berbicara dengan Master, saya mengatakan saya sudah 9 hari di Chingse ya. Waktu itu sangat malu sekali. Ternyata kita harus mendengar Dharma di Tzu Chi ya. Yao Fu Hui Suang Xiu ya, bukan hanya menciptakan berkah, harus mendengar Dharma ya. So setelah itu tahun 2014 di Indonesia ada simpasiang ya. Nah waktu itu saya mengikuti. Setelah mengikuti 1 tahun, kemudian saya muncul sebuah tekad untuk membantu menerjemahkan. Karena saya bisa Fujianhua ya, Fujianhua. Kalau Master bicara kan namanya Minyan I ya. Jadi Fujianhua masih bisa mendengar Minyan I. Tetapi saya belum pernah mendengar lalu kerja keras ya. Oke. Saat ini jam ini di Indonesia sedang berlangsung simpasiang ya. Jadi karena ShuTjeng sudah minta beberapa bulan untuk sharing kemari, kebetulan hari ini Master tidak live, jadi untuk terjemahan yang hari ini kita sudah dilakukan hari sebelumnya ya. Dan sekarang sangat kadang sudah ada tim yang menerjemahkan bersama-sama. Oke, ini awal-awal sekali tahun 2015 ya, setelah 1 tahun kita menerjemahkan di Medan. Nah, ini adalah tampilan simpasiang yang terkini. Kita sudah memiliki teks Indonesia di bagian bawah. Jadi kalau live biasanya waktu Indonesia adalah jam 4.20. Setelah itu kita langsung menerjemahkan sehingga jam 6.40 telah selesai 1 set terjemahan yang ditampilkan bersamaan dengan live dari Hualien untuk ulangan ya. Untuk Indonesia dilakukan waktu Indonesia 6.40 atau pukul 7.40 Kuala Lumpur dan Taiwan ya. Oke. Nah, pada saat masa COVID Indonesia itu kita terus terang kebanyakan kita belum pernah simpasiangnya. Jadi ketika kita mengadakan Zoom banyak sekali session yang ikut ya secara bertahap sampai bisa mencapai sekitar 300 orang. Nah, muncul satu problem ya. Problemnya adalah session yang belum pernah mendengar. Sehingga kita mengadakan acara untuk review kembali dari bab 1 sampai bab terakhir ya. Nah, itu memerlukan satu usaha besar ya. Kita mengadakan sampai 3 kali untuk mengulang dari bab 1 sampai bab 23 ya. Nah, itu bisa kita lakukan bertahap dari bab 1 ke 20 sampai ke 23. Ini kita lakukan karena pada masa COVID ini di Indonesia kebanyakan session kayak kita masih work from home ya. Sampai saat ini sebenarnya COVID di Indonesia masih meningkat walaupun secara perlahan. Jadi masih sebagian besar kita work from home ya. Oke, nah ini awalnya kita masih 1 orang ya untuk menerjemah, sekarang ini sudah sangat banyak ya. Oke, saya singkat aja. Nah, ada hal yang sangat menyentuh daripada penerjemah ini ya. Kebanyakan mereka bisa Mandarin tetapi sebagian besar tidak pernah mendengar Dharma. Jadi ketika kita ajak bergabung itu mereka sangat terharu ya. Sangat terharu bisa bergabung bersama-sama untuk sebenarnya ini adalah menyebarkan Dharma Master sambil belajar ya. Nah, ada seorang Shusheng ya, Shusheng ya, sebenarnya ini satu pasang ya, cuma dia minta namanya tidak disebutkan. Nah, ketika dia bergabung dalam tim penerjemahannya, mereka sama kantung ya. Bahkan besoknya dia bilang ya, beberapa hari setelah menerjemahkan itu, Shushengnya sebenarnya sedang mencicil lontong ya. Nah, karena menerjemahkan ini dia sangat kantung, terus besoknya dia bilang dia pergi bank, keluarkan semua deposit dia untuk menyelesaikan lontong itu. Terus ada seorang Tzu Chi lagi ya, ketika dia bergabung, besoknya kita minta dia join, dia bilang, saya masih menangis ya. Karena apa? Karena ketika diajak bergabung itu dia merasa sanhui ya. Sudah, karena dia sekolah di Taiwan, jadi sebenarnya Mandarin dia bagus, tetapi dia tidak ikuti untuk Dharma ini ya. Terus ada seorang Tzu Chi lagi, bahkan dia bermimpi bahwasanya di malam itu ada seorang tua ya, menunjukkan kepada dia bahwasanya mengikuti tim penerjemahan ini adalah suatu jalan yang sudah benar ya. Dan kita sekarang juga menerjemahkan dari bab 1 ya, agar Tzu Chi di sini dapat mengulang. Nah, ini adalah seorang Tzu Chi ya, di daerah Batam membawa 15 orang relawan ya, yang bisa mengerti Mandarin untuk menerjemahkan. Oke. Nah, berikutnya saya masuk ke masa COVID ya. Ini adalah kegiatan COVID di Medan ya. Nah, sebenarnya di Indonesia pada masa COVID kita sudah sering mendengar dari Ayen Sisung sharingnya, bahwasanya masa COVID ini sebenar-benarnya ya, Tzu Chi Indonesia telah melakukan suatu hal yang sangat besar. Orang berpikir kenapa pada awalnya Indonesia itu lambat COVID-nya. Sebenarnya ini adalah peran besar dari Tzu Chi ya. Peran besar Tzu Chi itu adalah waktu itu memasukkan rapid test dalam jumlah yang sangat besar sehingga dapat menghempang laju COVID di masa awal ya. Nah, ini kita lakukan pada bulan Maret dan April itu adalah masa pertama di Medan ya, di Indonesia juga ya, sudah sangat banyak. Nah, hal yang terjadi pada saat itu adalah rumah-rumah sakit tidak memiliki masker. Rumah sakit yang besar bahkan juga tidak ada ya. Kalau di sini saya lihat ya, ada pegawai rumah sakit yang tidak memakai masker ya. Kenapa? Memang masker sulit. Jadi ketika itu masker hanya digunakan untuk dokter dan suster. Pegawai di front office saja bahkan tidak dapat ya. Demikian juga pegawai di back office. Jadi sebenarnya pada saat itu petugas rumah sakit yang berada di ujung terdepan dalam menangani COVID berhadapan dengan risiko yang sangat besar ya. Nah, ini salah satu foto itu kita sudah sangat berada di rumah sakit yang kecil ya. Pada saat itu ini ada sedikit lockdown juga di daerah kita ya, tetapi sini tidak lockdown yang terlalu besar. Nah, pada saat kita pergi ini kita tidak memikirkan apa-apa ya, tetapi ketika sampai di sana itu kita berpikir sempat takut juga ya. Kenapa? Nah, seperti gambar ini adalah dinas kesehatan. Dinas kesehatan ini adalah pusat pengendalian COVID di Kota Medan ya. Nah, di pusat pengendalian COVID ini yang datang itu siapa? Tentu aja semua rumah sakit yang menangani COVID ya. Jadi sebenarnya risiko di tempat ini sangat besar ya. Tapi waktu itu saya mendengar Mas mengatakan, wah kalau kita sudah ada vegetarian, ya kita tidak takut. Jadi saya pikir, wah saya tuh udah vegetarian 10 tahun lebih ya. Tidak ada yang perlu ditakuti. Yang penting protokol kesehatan kita ikuti ya. Oke, nah ini sering Master sampaikan adalah kita pembagian sembako. Indonesia ini sebenarnya negara yang berkembang sangat sulit ya, sangat dampak ekonominya sangat besar ketika masa ini. Banyak orang yang tidak dapat pekerjaan, sehingga membagikan beras cinta kasih Tzu Chi adalah hal yang sangat krusial di saat seperti ini ya. Jadi kita di Indonesia sudah dari sejak dulu bekerja sama dengan tentara. termasuk dalam pembagian sembako ini. Nah, kita bersama-sama tentara mempacking ya, mempacking ini ya, yang kita bantukan beras dan mie ya. Ini beras-beras yang kita susun bersama mereka. Ya. Oke. Nah, pada saat kita akan menyampaikan, kita juga didampingi oleh tentara. Karena apa? Karena dalam kondisi seperti ini di Indonesia adalah sangat riskan, sangat beresiko tinggi apabila kita mengantarkan sendiri ya. Karena banyak sekali yang harus membutuhkan bantuan ini. Jadi kita kebetulan mempunyai kerjasama yang baik dengan tentara sehingga mereka mengawal dan mendampingi kita ya. Walaupun sebenarnya kita tidak membagikan semua, kebanyakan selebihnya kita percayakan kepada tentara untuk membantu mendistribusikannya ya. Oke, pada saat mendistribusikan itu kita juga mengajarkan mereka bagaimana harus menjaga jarak ya. Selain harus memakai masker, juga harus menjaga jarak ya. Nah, sini kita lihat ya, kita ketika menyerahkan bantuan juga tidak berhubungan langsung ya, kita melalui sebuah kursi. Sebenarnya waktu itu kita juga mendengar master mengatakan Thailand belajar dari Filipina ya. Filipina kita lihat di TV ya melakukan seperti ini. Nah, walaupun kita di sini masing-masing daerah kecil, kita juga melihat dari TV ya, jadi kita mendengar simpasian juga masih ceritakan ini, kita juga melakukan seperti ini ya, dalam kondisi yang lebih sederhana. Oke, ini saya ada sedikit video dari TV ya.
Ya, alhamdulillah bisa membantu dari ini corona, bisa menolong. Ya itulah, alhamdulillah.
Sehari-hari Ibu kesibukannya
Ibu jualan bakso. Tapi selama ada corona nggak jualan lagi. Jadi berhentilah Ibu. Jadi selama ini ya sering-sering dikasih orang lah, bantuan orang gitu.
Sukacita dan syukur menyelimuti hati warga yang menerima bantuan. Mudiati, salah seorang warga Kota Medan, begitu berterima kasih atas bantuan yang ia terima. Ia berharap pandemi COVID-19 segera berakhir, sehingga Mudiati dapat kembali membuka usaha makanan yang telah ia geluti selama bertahun-tahun. Kembali bersama dengan TNI Kodam 1 Bukit Barisan, Yayasan Buddha Tzu Chi memberikan bantuan sembako kepada warga Medan dan sekitarnya yang terkena dampak ekonomi akibat pandemi COVID-19. Bantuan ini diberikan secara gotong royong oleh Babinsa atau Bintara Pembina Desa. Ada sekitar 200 personil Babinsa yang bergerak untuk membagikan bantuan ini kepada masyarakat.
Sama dengan apa yang kita sampaikan mulai sejak tahap pertama kemarin, kita tidak hanya memberikan bantuan sembako, tetapi juga memberikan edukasi kepada masyarakat. Apa yang diedukasi? Yang diedukasi adalah penekanan pemerintah dan semua bidang kesehatan untuk kita semua menjaga kesehatan. Antara lain, tak perlulah keluar rumah. Jika terpaksa harus keluar rumah, pakailah masker. Yang kedua, jaga jarak.
Mohon perhatian kepada
Ya, bersama anggota Babinsa, Tzu Chi langsung mendatangi warga dari rumah ke rumah untuk memberikan bantuan sembako berupa beras, mie instan dan juga masker. Tidak lupa relawan beserta Babinsa juga mengedukasi warga untuk tetap menjaga jarak dan kesehatan mereka selama masa pandemi ini.
Kalaupun harus terpaksa keluar, wajib pakai masker, ya Pak ya.
Nah, dalam proses pemberian ini kita juga mendidik ya. Mendidik itu beberapa hal seperti tadi kita memberikan mereka masker bagi yang belum memakai. Oke, karena jadi dalam pembagian bantuan di Indonesia ini ya, kesulitan mengendalikan COVID di Indonesia sekarang adalah sebenarnya kurang disiplin ya. Dan di Indonesia sendiri kita tidak bisa melakukan lockdown terlalu besar karena kondisi ekonomi ya. Pemerintah kesulitan melakukan lockdown karena setiap orang juga harus makan ya, seperti Master bilang, dampak terbesar sebenarnya di ekonomi. Sehingga hanya dilakukan lockdown kecil. Jadi sebenarnya COVID di Indonesia ini terus meningkat sampai saat ini ya. Oke, selanjutnya saya akan sharing sedikit mengenai Palu ya. Nah, Palu ini kita tahu gempa yang sangat besar di tahun 2008 ya. Sebenarnya Indonesia ini sangat luas ya. Indonesia adalah sebagai sebuah negara kepulauan ya. Ini adalah Indonesia ya. Ya. Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur berada di sini. Medan berada di sini ya. Saya berada di sini di Medan ya. Saya berada di sini. Ibu kota Indonesia, Tzu Chi pusat di Jakarta di sini. Kejadian Palu adalah di sini ya. Jadi ini adalah Indonesia ya. Jadi Indonesia dibagi 3 waktu, ini adalah Indonesia bagian barat ya. Oke. Jadi beda waktu Indonesia ada yang 2 jam ya, dari ujung ke ujung. Kalau kita naik pesawat perlu 2 hari karena perlu ini ya, transit pesawat ya. Oke, Palu ini adalah sebuah daerah pantai ya. Sebenarnya Palu ini adalah sebuah surga karena pantainya sangat indah ya. Oke, nah ada beberapa ikon yang sekarang kita lihat, nanti akan kita lihat efeknya setelah gempa ya. Ini adalah jembatan Palu yang sangat terkenal, dan ini adalah masjid yang berada di atas air ya, namanya Masjid Terapung. Kita lihat apa akibatnya setelah gempa ya. Nah ini demikian indahnya ketika belum terjadi bencana ya. Palu ini adalah sebuah kota yang sangat indah. Ya, ini adalah Masjid Terapung sebelum gempa. Nah ini ada jembatan Palu yang sangat terkenal ya. Oke. Palu ini adalah sebuah surga ya. Oke, ini pusat gempa terjadi tanggal 13 September ya, pada skala 7,4 Richter. Oke, apa yang terjadi karena di Palu pada saat itu ada 3 jenis ya. Ada gempa bumi. Gempa bumi karena ini daerah di tepi pantai sehingga terjadi tsunami. Kemudian ada satu lagi yang di Indonesia belum pernah terjadi adalah likuifaksi ya. Nanti kita ada videonya apa sebenarnya likuifaksi ya. Oke, kekuatan gempa sekali jadi saya cari di internet sebesar 200 kali bom Hiroshima ya. Oke, data statistik yang resmi dikeluarkan pemerintah Indonesia untuk gempa ini adalah 1.203 orang meninggal dunia, 46 orang hilang, 540 luka berat ya. Nah ini yang hilang ini adalah yang ditelan oleh likuifaksi ya, kita lihat ya. Nah ini ketika gempa gedung-gedung hancur semua ya. Oke. Nah ini kondisinya sangat hancur sekali ya pada saat tersebut. Nah ini jembatan yang indah tersebut juga lonyok ya. Kita bayangkan ya betapa besarnya tsunami tersebut ya. Besi-besi yang demikian kuat itu tumbang semua ya, patah semua ya. Jembatan yang demikian bagus, kuat, besar, dan cantik akhirnya juga hancur ya. Oke, nah ini mengenai likuifaksi ya. Likuifaksi ini pada daerah ini namanya Petobo. Kita lihat ini adalah kompleks perumahan yang terjadi likuifaksi ya. Nah ini menjadi lumpur ya. Awalnya ini adalah rumah kemudian menjadi lumpur. Kita lihat videonya ya.
Dan yang menerjang Donggala dan juga Palu, saudara, ini ada fenomena likuifaksi. Proses likuifaksi atau fenomena likuifaksi di komplek perumahan Petobo, Kota Palu, ini adalah hasil rekaman citra satelit World View resolusi piksel 0,5 meter, di mana dapat disaksikan dengan jelas rumah dan juga bangunan terseret oleh lumpur akibat fenomena likuifaksi. Likuifaksi ini adalah fenomena yang disebabkan usai gempa yang mengguncang, menyebabkan tanah yang tadinya padat kemudian berubah menjadi cair dan juga.
Oke. Nah, jadi saat kita ke sana ini sebuah kampung ini sudah hilang ditelan bumi ya. Nah, ini kondisinya ketika kita ke sana ya. Ini kita videokan secara amatir ya oleh relawan kita. Oke, jadi rumah-rumah di sana sudah hilang ditelan bumi ya, ditelan tanah ya. Nah, masuk pernah cerita tentang sebuah kisah ya, ketika tanahnya bergerak, seluruh rumah itu ditelan oleh tanah yang sudah menjadi air dan lumpur ya. Jadi kalau gempa bumi mungkin kita masih punya kesempatan untuk menyelamatkan diri ya. Kalau likuifaksi ini kita sulit menyelamatkan diri ya, karena rumah itu ditelan ke dalam bumi. Nah, Masur ada mengambil sebuah kisah tentang seorang ibu ya. seorang ibu ketika itu di dalam rumah, rumahnya sudah ditelan ke dalam bumi ya, ke dalam tanah. Nah, tiba-tiba dia masih bisa berlari keluar karena pintunya terbuka ya. Jadi saya teringat tentang bagaimana kalau misalnya karma kolektif ya. Kalau kita diajak orang untuk berbuat jahat, sebaiknya kita harus punya prinsip kebenaran ya, sehingga kita tidak melakukan kejahatan bersama orang lain ya. Nah, ketika kondisi demikian besar bencana, masih ada orang yang ditolong oleh bumi ya untuk diselamatkan. Oke, nah apa yang kita dilakukan di Palu ya? Saya hanya ikut satu gelombang ya. Jadi sebenarnya kita banyak gelombang karena saat itu kita memerlukan banyak relawan ya. Nah, yang kita lakukan di sana adalah membagi selimut ya, membagi selimut dan siang cifan ya. Oke, yang paling menyentuh di sini adalah saya kisah tentang kita naik ambulan ya. Nah, waktu itu ambulan ini sebenarnya kita berpikir ya, ambulan ini tidak mempunyai alat medis ya, tidak ada oksigen, tidak ada alat-alat medis ya. Jadi kita berpikir sebenarnya ini ambulan apa ya? Sesiung di sini berpikir mungkin ini ambulan untuk membawa jenazah ya. Tapi oke lah, ini sangat membadai untuk kita sebagai membawa bantuan ya. Oke. Nah, kita lihat ya, kebanyakan yang kita kerjakan adalah membagikan selimut ya. Kenapa membagikan selimut ya? Karena di sini kebanyakan semuanya masih tenda. Belum ada bangunan darurat sama sekali ya. Oke, kebanyakan di sini adalah kita membagikan selimut ya. Oke. Nah, saya awalnya mau pergi ke Palu ini salah satu juga karena tertarik ya. Selama mengikuti pembagian bencana kecil Indonesia, belum ada pembagian selimut dari Taiwan ini ya, walaupun saya juga punya satu di rumah ketika pelantikan komite diberikan ya. Nah, kita lihat ya, demikian banyaknya selimut ini kalau mau dibagikan, kita memerlukan sangat banyak orang ya. Karena selimut ini Tzu Chi bagikan tidak boleh sekaligus ya, harus kepada satu keluarga, satu selimut secara langsung ya. Nah, kita lihat ya, kenapa selimut ini sangat membantu ya. Karena di sini rata-rata masih dengan tenda yang terbuka dan tenda yang darurat ya. Coba kita lihat ya, beginilah kondisinya. Sebenarnya ada tenda yang lebih bagus yang dibangun oleh LSM dari luar negeri, LSM internasional maupun oleh pemerintah ya. Tetapi itu kebanyakan mereka takut, mereka trauma karena kebanyakan masih berada di tepi pantai. Nah, ini di tenda yang agak bagus juga mereka membutuhkan selimut ya. Kebanyakan rata-rata di tempat yang terbuka. Oke. Kita lihat ya, apa yang kita lakukan memberi perhatian kepada mereka ya. Setelah memberikan bantuan, kita juga harus memberikan bantuan untuk menghangatkan batin mereka ya. Oke. Nah, jadi kita dalam di Palu ini karena kondisinya waktu itu termasuk masih darurat, kita harus mengejar waktu ya. Pembagian selimut ini harus langsung kepada penerima ya. Makanya kita melakukannya sampai malam ya. Foto ini saya sangat suka karena apa? Kita berangkatnya itu sebenarnya jam 7 pagi ya. Kita harus loading barang sendiri ke dalam truk. Kemudian truknya mengikut kita membagikan bantuan-bantuan ya, terutama selimut dan sentipan. Nah, karena sepanjang jalan itu kita terus naik ke arah gunung, kita mengejar waktu sehingga kita harus sampai malam ya, agar target yang kita kejar untuk memberikan bantuan kepada pengungsi yang masih di tenda-tenda ini dapat tercapai ya. Jadi foto ini sangat menyentuh bagi saya. Kenapa ya? Setiap pagi kita berangkat, kita hanya membawa bekal satu bungkus nasi ya. satu bungkus nasi putih yang digoreng, atau kadang-kadang hanya mie instan ya. Nah, kita berangkat jam 7, bekal itu untuk kita makan di jam 12 siang ya. Nah, pada saat ini kita sudah di jam 9 malam ya, rata-rata setiap malam adalah seperti ini ya. Jadi sangat menyentuh. Setiap kita memberikan bantuan itu, kita juga harus menghibur mereka ya. Nah, ketika mereka tahu bahwasanya kita datang dari seluruh Indonesia, ada dari Jakarta, ada dari Makassar, ada dari berbagai tempat ya, bahkan dari Medan ya. Medan ini kalau ke sana sebenarnya sangat jauh. Jadi ini mereka merasakan banyak keluarga yang dari berbagai tempat Indonesia bisa memberikan perhatian kepada mereka ya. Jadi ini adalah sebuah perjalanan yang sangat menjadi inspirasi bagi saya sendiri ya, karena apa yang kita lakukan ini, kita sudah menjalankan misi yang kita disampaikan oleh Master, bahwasanya menolong orang kita harus sampai tuntas ya. Jadi sampai malam-malam ini, dari jam 7 malam sampai jam 9 malam itu, kita hanya makan satu bungkus nasi ya, setiap malam seperti itu. Tapi kita tidak merasa capek ya, karena ketika kita menyanyikan lagu itu, mereka sangat terharu ya. Bahkan walaupun hanya sebuah lagu satu keluarga, lirik-liriknya sangat menyentuh. Bahkan mereka sering ingin kita agar mengulang-ulang lagu ini ya. Oke, ini kita juga masih sempat simpasian ya di sana ya. Walaupun kondisinya darurat hanya satu ruangan ini ya. Kita tidak punya ruangan lain ya. Nah, ini kondisi terakhir Palu sudah selesai ya. Jadi dalam beberapa hari ini akan diserah terimakan ya. Kemarin sesium ShuTjeng kita sudah berangkat, saya ada sebuah video. Nah, video ini kita lakukan di Zoom Simpasian kita ya. Zoom Simpasian kita ini diikuti oleh seluruh sesium ShuTjeng dari Indonesia ya. Sehingga setiap ada kegiatan besar sesium ShuTjeng kita bisa sharing secara live ya. Mari kita lihat ya. Ketika kita mengantarkan sesium ShuTjeng kita dari Jakarta akan berangkat ke Palu ya. Dalam kondisi COVID yang masih sangat tinggi.
Cảm ơn sư兄师姐，大菩萨祝福你们，祝福也一路平安，一路顺风，功德无量哦，功德无量，感恩。Puspa师姐 harus dijaga baik-baik itu. Ya. Satu-satunya cewek. Cảm ơn sư兄, cảm ơn
semuanya ya. Itu kan Siswanto juga itu titip barang banyak sekali nih untuk orang-orang Palu. Kan ya, Sisang Suci ya, Mas Suci Seli semuanya antohol, kan.
Tufu niman, tufu niman.
Sesiung Suci, ada yang mau bicara? Ada yang bicara dengan mereka? Tidak?
Boleh dong, Sudarman Lim Sesiung. Kok sampai bisa lupa Sesiung? Sudarman Lim sharing sebentar dong. Masih ada 1 menit. Bisa lupa hari Minggu Sesiung.
Aduh, ya jadi gini. Karena kita kan sudah komitmen. Kita lihat ya, di Palu tuh penderitaan orang itu besar. Kita udah nggak mikirkan apa. Kita di hati kita ada milik ya kita bersama-sama lagi mikir, jangan mikir pribadinya. Kita juga lagi, tapi kita mikirkan orang banyak, keluarga gimana ngikutinnya gitu. Nah, tapi saya betul-betul ada tekad, karena saya ikut Master diajarin begitu ya, otomatis kami juga harus lebih semangat. Orang lebih menderita di kita bersyukur kita bisa begini. Nah, gitu aja ya. Ngomong selamat pagi ya. Kita sekarang lagi kumpul di airport untuk siap berangkat ke Palu.
Ya, ini semua lagi memperhatikan, semua lagi melihat Sesiung Suci. Ya, kan Kanen, semua sangat tersentuh. Kanen
karena doanya luar biasa Kanen. Karena nggak tanpa doa dan Sesiung Suci, kami nggak semangat. Karena semangat ini luar biasa. Doanya, kami minta doanya ya.
Sesiung yang belakang mau bicara itu, yang belakang.
Divan, maju. Oh jangan, kamu bicara. Cepat bicara. Jadi ngomong sebentar. Ngomong sebentar.
Kenapa?
Kamu ngomong sebentar aja. Beliau ke Palu.
Ya, ShuTjeng. Ya, doakan ya, semoga semua sukses ya.
Gantian, ShuTjeng gantian.
Ngomong sebentar.
Ya, cukup Niman juga ya. Jadi saya sih malu, gak simpasiang. Ya, jadi canui.
Besok simpasiang.
Ya，感恩你们的祝福哈，使我们能够共同一起加油哈，感恩。
Oke. Ini yang termuda. Ngomong.
感恩 semua yang sejauh.
Nih, ngomong sekali lagi.
Cảm ơn semuanya, Mitopo, Yuliman Senhal, cảm ơn.
Nih, Cheng, Tan Srianto ngomong tuh sebentar. Ngomong.
Ya, ShuTjeng, hao ya. Jadi hari ini kita berkesempatan untuk berangkat ya, tapi mudah-mudahan ShuTjeng bisa doakan kita supaya kita berjalan lancar di sana ya. Kan ShuTjeng.
Oke, kan-en ya,
Kan-en ShuTjeng, semua mendoakan di chat room ini, juga di grup-grup komunitas ya, semua mendoakan semoga lancar ya. Ya, oke.
Jayo, ShuTjeng.
OK， 感恩呀，感恩上人金师师父、师兄师姐、十号师兄呀、ShuTjeng师姐、Riani师姐，感恩大家。
Okay, everybody. Thanks for brothers today sharing. Saya boleh start bahasa Indonesia. Saya cakap bahasa Indonesia lah. Terima kasih. Terima kasih kerana berusaha sejak berapa tahun dekat Indonesia. Masih dekat sini dan tak pergi mana-mana. Hari-hari sunta siang sangat menarik ya, menarikkan hati. Lagipun dekat tu gempa bumi. Sampai sekarang pun masih beri perhatian kepada mereka nak hantar selimut ke tent ke, sangat menyentuhkan. Saya sangat menghormati pasal lelawan dekat Indonesia. Macam tu betul-betul orang yang dekat miskin ke, dekat bencana ke, walau bagaimanapun kita kan ada kerja sendiri kan, ada rumah kena tetangga kena jaga, boleh keluarkan masa untuk menolong orang yang benar-benar kena beri perhatian kepada mereka. Lagipun dekat gempa bumi macam ni sangat menakutkan kan, dekat Medan sana atau dekat Jakarta sana, sangat jauh kan. Lagipun you betul kena pergi sana pun ada jarakan dia, kena masa lagi kembang sangat banyak berperhatian kepada sana. Terima kasih ya dari sang dan tengah master dekat sini kena volunteer dengan tongren sama sekali. Kita betul-betul nak bantu sama sekali kerana kita memang satu keluarga dekat seluruh dunia. Kita tak beza apa-apa pun, yang penting ialah kita punya hati kena tenang. Kalau volunteer relawan kita hati tak tenang, susah kita mau jalan journey yang sangat jauh kan. Yang pernah kita, lagipun COVID-19 sekarang sangat kuat kan dekat sana. Semua kena keluarkan, kena pakai mask kena jagakan sendiri, kena cuci tangan ke, jangan pegang mana. Kalau pegang yang itu kena cuci tangan kita pun ada keluar itu ShuTjeng kan, kena ShuTjeng kan. Alkohol kita bahasa Malaysia sangat campur sekali ya. Apa-apa bahasa pun campur sekali macam lojak. Tak kisah kan, saya orang memang suka campur sini campur sana, lojak sedap juga. Saya sangat
suka. Cakap Indonesia cakap sabun
sabun semua sabun sekali ya. Kita cakap sabun campur sekali ya. Seronok juga lah kalau macam tu belajar kan, enak lah. Pasal kita hati kadang-kadang kita pun susah juga tengok mereka dalam kesusahan. Kita tak boleh bantu yang banyak lagi, tapi yang sekuat mungkin lah yang kita boleh buat. Nak tolong mereka macam mana, cari macam mana keadaan ke, material ke, nak bantu mereka asalkan mereka boleh keluar daripada kesusahan. Kita sangat baik hati ya, kena selalu kena cakap kita sangat baik lah, tu panggil apa? 自我良好ya. Kena赞叹法门, betul. 赞叹法门 sangat baik. Lagipun kita hati sama dengan hati, tangan kena pegang sama sekali. Kita jadi satu. Banyak orang jadi satu kumpul sekali, kita ada hati nak kebaikan untuk seluruh dunia kan. Bukan dari satu orang, tapi seluruh dunia kita volunteer kan. Ada lawan kita semua kumpul. Tadi saya nampak itu ada Dora Tan ya. Dulu saya pun ada kawan dekat college kan. Saya pun ada Dora, dia cakap. Lagi ada Liliana, itu masa saya dekat college kan, dia kawan saya. Sekarang saya cakap bahasa Malaysia kan, rasa dia dekat Indonesia kan, saya asyik ya. Kadang-kadang sama sekarang orang Indonesia kan, saya akan fikir kawan-kawan saya dari sekolah dulu. Macam tu saya pun ada hati nak cari mereka dekat Indonesia, dekat Jakarta. Mungkin mereka pun boleh keluarkan tenaga untuk membantu orang yang kena saling bantu. Terima kasih sangat kerana sana selalu baik. Kita pun nampak apa yang you semua dekat sana buat. Kita pun satu hari kita berusaha sekaligus. Yang penting hati kita kena jadi tenang kan. Hari-hari Shunfa yang baru kita ada ada cara macam mana nak bantu orang, macam mana nak bantu kita sendiri dan bantu orang lain. Itulah kita punya cara Shunfa yang sangat penting. Kena ajak-ajak semua sekaligus datang. Baru ada tenaga macam charge battery kan.
Sekarang ramai semua Indonesia ramai Shunfa. Masa COVID sudah
yo bagus. Yang baru punya dengan lama punya pun kena ajak sekaligus tau. Jangan lepas satu. Bagus sekali. Macam tu kita baru ada kuat tenaga kan. Ada semangat.
Karena sekarang ada pakai teks Indonesia jadi bisa paham lah. Kalau dulu banyak orang tidak baca karena tidak ada terjemahan bahasa Indonesia. Kalau sekarang sudah ada bahasa Indonesia, banyak orang ikutlah. Kanan suku.
Bagus. Kanan suku di mana?
Ya, kanan suku.
Huang Sifu kasih Huang Sifu cakap sekali ya. Dia cakap dia berbahasa Malaysia tak bagus sangat.
Malu saya orang Malaysia tapi bahasa sangat gagal. Okay. Tapi saya faham apa yang Master
kita cakap ada masalah, kita dengar tak ada masalah, tapi cakap kan kadang-kadang jarang nak cakap kan, susah mau cakap.
Bahasa Roja tapi memang, tapi saya sangat very touching for what you mentioned just now. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Cảm ơn sư phụ. Okay, cảm ơn for all the very wonderful sharing. Cảm ơn Brother ShuTjeng, of course, BrotherJoe. 真的是很感恩 a lot of words of gratitude today. We are very grateful today. Not only we hear the lots of Dharma, but also a lot of very heartfelt story. 感恩 also to our brothers and sisters for your presence, for your great support every Saturday. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life. May we invite our abode Sifu to lead us in paying homage. Let us make 3 bows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life universal truth. Palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Abode Sifu for giving us a lot of great insights today. Cảm ơn Sifu. And very good. Our Sifu multilingual can speak in Malay, Indonesian, and Chinese. 好，感恩，感恩师父。
感恩，